Okay, we are recording here. Let's get going. Hey, this is Joko, and I'm doing something today that I haven't done in the past, which is producing
About
a,
what do I need?
a speaking video entirely on the computer screen. And I want to expand my uh, speaking feedback services uh, at the IELTS Temple. So I'm doing them for free right now, and I found sort of a I don't know if other people do this, but what I do is put a PDF on the Facebook tips and tricks page with questions spaced out far enough on multiple pages so that uh, people visiting won't see more than one at a time. They then go onto Facebook Live, record themselves, and when I can, I'll get back to it and give them some feedback. This feedback is for Mr. Taifur Azam from Bangladesh. I use this checklist to ensure that I am covering all four of uh, the band descriptors, the gravitas, as I like to call them, my own acronym, GRA, grammar, range, and accuracy. Oh yeah, appropriate vocabulary, lexical resource, immediate fluency, together, coherent answers, and how it sounds, the pronunciation. All of these are judged equally. I have another video here at IELTS Temple that goes into more detail about the band descriptors. Let's start to listen to our client here and see what we notice.
Well, I live in a very big city of our country, Bangladesh, and it's just beside the Bay of Bengal. So sea is so much near to this city.
Okay, the first question, he doesn't start with a good impression because he has a very odd grammar error. The sea is so much near to the city. The sea is so near to the city. Sure. Okay. Yeah, it's just one added word. But listening to his grammar throughout the talk, I know he knows better than that.
Have you lived in the same neighborhood for some time?
Have you lived in the same neighborhood for some time? All of the questions in task one have the purpose of eliciting certain grammar structures. Listen for the cues in the question. Have you lived there for a long time? And he has an interesting answer.
What sort of neighborhood is it? Well, I've been living here for more than 10 months. Before that, I was in a neighborhood, I was in a different area, and there I lived for around 10 years. So it's not always the same neighborhood I have been living for my whole life. This is my would be the fourth place that I've been living right now, and
Okay, he used the present perfect continuous. I have been living here for more than 10 months. And actually, he's correct. We use the present perfect continuous to stress an amount of time. He then said, I was in a different neighborhood before that, and I lived in another part for 10 years. Wow, okay. Past simple to talk about past actions that are complete. So, it is not always the same neighborhood I have been living. Oh, three good grammar sentences and then one bad one. Okay. Mm-mm-mm.
it's our own home, and
No
here we
mention of
live
what
in
kind of
currently.
neighborhood it is.
Has your neighborhood changed much in the time you have been there?
Once again, present perfect.
Well, I didn't notice that much of change or any
Oh,
particular
past simple.
things to be noticed, especially. But what I have noticed mostly is the
But then he goes ahead and says, what I have noticed, So he knows to use the present perfect. It's just a very a good example of knowledge of grammar without without control of grammar.
Building the new buildings are being built beside our home, and the roads have been reconstructed again and again, year after year, and there a little bit change in the grocery market. Uh, it was
Okay, so some good and bad there. Some good vocabulary, some good lexical, like reconstructed. Well, it can't be reconstructed year after year after year, but my notes there. When he gets to the grocery market, I don't know what happened. Well, you listen and you decide. I'll tell you what I think happened.
previously not fully fully it was not that much fully equipped with so many modern amenities, but is now. So
Okay, so grocery market is not a common collocation in English. Grocery store, supermarket, yeah, yeah. There's market. What I think you need to work on, Tyfor, is what to do when you find yourself needing a word that you don't remember or don't know. After a grocery market, you had a long pause, and that will affect your fluency in this part of the speaking. Learn to paraphrase. You did come with, as there are not many modern amenities in this town. Okay, modern amenities, you usually use that with hotels or homes, not so much towns. Anyway, that pause made you rush through the next part and made a few mistakes.
that's kind of minor change, and that much not noticeable, I should say.
Good job to conclude your answer. So there has those kinds of minor change, good vocabulary, and a good way to signal that you're finished with the question. By the way, a lot of these questions are too long, the answers are too long, and you might get cut off by the examiner.
How do you think your neighborhood will change in the future?
Will change. Future forms. Will. Be going to. Verbs that express the future, like hope and expect.
Well, I think my neighborhood that I'm currently living now would be changed if there is a better water supply and gas supply, which we usually use in your daily life, and there is a shortage in our gas and water supply. I hope that is as there are some development going on in our city, like increasing the supply rate of these sources, I mean these basic needs of our citizen. So I can hope that within a very short period of time we'll see some change and see improvement in this regard. Another thing I may notice that the people
Okay, so good vocabulary. Things like I can hope that within a short period of time we'll see some changes and improvement in. I didn't understand that. Actually, that's still coming up. However, here's a grammar point. Okay. Oh wait, let's continue to listen.
living here, but there are lots of slums still
Slums.
beside our
Good.
neighborhood and in our neighborhood, and I hope that these will be taken in time and the new buildings will be built here, and people from different part of our country will reside here in future.
Ah, we finally hear the name of the town. It's future. No, he meant to say in the future. people from different parts, not part, parts. So those kinds of little grammar errors account for many of his mistakes. Very small, they don't interfere with meaning, but it will have an impact on the band score.
If you could change one thing about the area where you live, what would it be?
Ah, if you could change one thing about your town, what would it be? The second conditional in the question. Now, a second conditional is an advanced, well, it's it's a complex structure because you're using past tenses to talk about future possibilities, or in this case, impossibilities. He cannot change one thing about his town. And that's why it's confusing, a confusing structure. You're asked to talk about unreal situations. Learn your conditional structures. They will help you to get a better score. If you don't, you won't do well.
Well, I should try to change, if it's possible, I should try to change the manner of the people because I do not like. I'm not very fond of what they maintain. I mean, their behavior.
Note how he self-corrected there. He, instead of I do not like, he used a less common structure. I'm not fond of. Good for Lexus.
Is not appreciable and acceptable to me. Sometimes I feel so much noise, and there are lots of disturbance going on, and I notice lots of ip teasing to the girls, and
Heap
that's
teasing?
so much vulnerable for developing society. So if I have the chance, then I should change these practices, and for that, I wish so to have the power to change things like that.
Okay, good developed answer. Uh, and he uses a lot of less common vocabulary. That's so much vulnerable. Missing words in there. Um, and other instances where advanced vocabulary is attempted, but more often it is used incorrectly. Let's take a pause and see if this time it's actually recording.